We will start momentarily once people have joined the chat. So if you're watching this after the fact, feel free to skip ahead. Edith's26, welcome. Hello, how are you? So, unfortunately, I did a bunch of vlogs on my phone. And finally, after doing that, I was like, this phone looks way too much like garbage. I need to get a really small, compact camera for vlogging when we're also doing Adventure Archive stuff, because that's the main reason I use my phone, was because I want to save those cameras for the actual episode and not get all the footage all mixed up. So the Sony RX100 Mark V, that seems like the best bet, but it's $1,000. I don't want to spend $1,000. Okay, welcome everybody. DH, Jen W, Chris Heaton, Jeremy Cox, Lorenzo, So Rice. I know it's not So Rice, but I'm going to keep saying it. Tessa, welcome. So I was going to move the weekly US time zone live stream to Thursdays. So we'll do Tuesdays at like 1 or 2 for the Europeans, and then, or just people on that side of the globe. And then we'll do Thursdays at 7 or 8 for people in the US or this side of the globe. But today I wasn't going to stream, but then my friend who we were going to watch Spaceballs, she canceled. So I decided I'll just go ahead and do the stream. But next week, I probably will move it to Thursday. So that's just a heads up. On the afternoon stream today, we talked a little bit about the road trip. We talked about the fact that my mom and I were moving out of this house to a house down the street. What else did we talk about? We talked about the fact that Your Name is an amazing movie. Max Jochems brought it up. I showed my first ever vinyl purchase on screen. This is probably my favorite band right now, called the Lydian Collective. And let's open this up, man. Let's check this out. I found them on the Candy Rat Records YouTube page. And if you guys if you've never heard of Candy Rat Records, you might have heard of Andy McKee. He's I think it's fingerstyle is what they call it, fingerstyle guitar player. He made that channel really famous because one of his videos went viral, or maybe he didn't make it famous. I don't know, but that video went viral. Lots of his videos did, and there was all sorts of stuff. But anyways, ever since, in fact, my two favorite bands, The Reign of Kendo and the Lydian Collective, I found them both on Candy Rat Records. Somehow Candy Rat Records they make music that I like. But there's the front. It opens up. Man, these vinyls are so big, dude. There's something about, I understand why people get obsessed with vinyls, because they are really, really cool to look at. And it's just like an experience, like handling them. I don't have a vinyl player, so I have not actually listened to the vinyl version. But I would love to, man. Are you supposed to like clean it before you put it in there? Isn't it incredible that like the grooves are in there? That's just so interesting. And they only hold 3 songs on each side. It's like 9 minutes. That must mean that it's really high quality, right? They probably play it more time for the grooves to. I don't really know how vinyls work, but yeah, pretty cool. I want to get a vinyl player, but I'm gonna hold off because that was another thing I talked about on the afternoon stream, which is that I'm saving money right now, and it's going pretty well. What all places on the road trip did you guys shoot for the upcoming Adventure Archives episodes? So I've talked about that a little bit too. We're going to do 3 episodes. One is going to be California, so Big Sur, Alabama Hills. Oh, I can't remember. I don't remember. You'll see in the vlogs, but there's basically 3 main portions that we did. So like California and Nevada, and then we did New Mexico and Texas. Then we did, or maybe Texas will be part of Louisiana. I don't know. It's going to we'll have to see how it shakes out afterwards, but we did capture 1.2 terabytes of footage. I think somewhere around that, maybe a little bit more, but usually an Adventure Archives episode comes out to about 300 gigabytes. It's usually like 250 to 350, so around 300. So that is basic. That is like footage-wise, that seems like 4 episodes, but we capture so much footage of just like the road like the scenery as we were driving. That I think that takes up a good portion of it. So I would say conservatively 3, but even more conservatively, maybe 2 episodes. So we'll see. Vinyl is going to be dangerous. I've bought so many movie and video game soundtracks because of the packaging, artwork, etc. No, so this one, it was a huge exception because this band is so small. This is their first album ever. It's a collector's. I feel like I need to buy another one just in case, but I'm going to try not to be a crazy person and not do that. But they're so small, and it's the first album they've ever released. So I was like, I got to get the vinyl, even though I don't have a vinyl player. I bought the digital version, I bought the CD, and I bought the vinyl, which was dumb because the CD and the vinyl both come with the digital version. But I'm happy to support the band because I really like them. But I'm trying not to get into that world of vinyl because exactly what you just said, I would get super into it. I've looked at those game soundtracks that are on vinyl, the most gorgeous artwork. The discs look so cool. I'm just like, I want it so bad, but I'm trying to get away from wasting my money on things that I don't need. You know what I mean? I have no idea if the sound on vinyl is good. I've actually never heard of vinyl on good equipment before. I've heard of vinyl before way back in the day when I was like I don't know how old I was, maybe like a teenager. My parents had a vinyl player. I hooked it up to these 2 old speakers that they had, and I don't remember what it sounded like, but I don't remember being particularly impressed. I'm sure if I played it now on my speakers, they'd probably sound really good, but I'm not sure if it would sound better than a CD player. Like I've done tests where I've listened to like lossless audio versus like lossless audio at like 24-bit, 96 kilohertz, like 192 kilohertz. I can't hear the difference. Maybe like in cymbals or something, you might be able to hear it, but who knows, man. Oh, Alexander, he's here. Okay, good. I wasn't sure if you were going to be joining. Okay, New River. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's take these in order. Have you played the new God of War? No, not yet. I'm very much looking forward to it. In fact, the only footage that I have seen so far is that initial reveal trailer. As soon as I saw that trailer, I was like, okay. I didn't think I wanted another God of War game. After God of War 3, I was like, okay, I'm done. First of all, I hate Kratos. Like, Kratos is the worst character. He's just a complete a-hole. He has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. It's fun to just go and bash people and kill people. But when he kills the good guys too, like he throws that, he's like holding the ship captain above the Hydra's mouth. And he's like, give me the key. And he's like, oh, thank you. Or it's like, thanks for saving me. He's like, I didn't come to save you. And he just rips the key off and throws him in there. I'm like, Kratos, you are a piece of trash. But when you look at it just like as him being a comical piece of trash, those games were still enjoyable. And like God of War 2, the way the game opens where you're fighting the Colossus of Rhodes, superb. And God of War 3, when you fight the Titans, amazing. I just don't like the character and I don't like the story. But this new direction they're taking with the character and with the story, I'm very excited to play it. I'm probably going to Redbox it this weekend and just try to rip through it in 2 days so I don't have to buy it. But yeah, I'm very excited. How do we get super rich? You have to have a lot of drive to get rich and not really care about the process of doing it. If you want to care about the process of getting rich and enjoy that part as well and not just the money part, you have to get lucky. That's my theory anyway. Also, did you guys know that Bruce Lee died when he was 33 years old? I am 33 right now. Think about how many people look at all the nuggets of wisdom that Bruce Lee says, and like people just like revere him. The dude was only 33 years old. That means one of 2 things. One, that means that we shouldn't be revering the things he says because he's only 33 years old. Only 33 years old. What on earth does he know? Or it means that why are people not revering the things that I say? Because it's like I feel like my philosophies are pretty on point lots of times. Well, I mean, I guess there are people who think that my philosophies are good, but lots of times it's not taken very seriously by people, and I'm just like, yo, how old do I have to be? And probably just thinking of my dad, but how old do I have to be before I can be taken seriously by somebody? You know, like that's one thing that I've had like my whole life. I've never felt like people are taking me serious. Here's a funny anecdote. I was in Florida doing this video shoot, and there was one woman there she wasn't somebody I was working with, but she was working for the company that we were working for. But anyway, she kept saying, like, she was talking about her teenager, and she was like grinding her, like, she said something and then was like, sorry, Robby, I don't mean to like uh call you immature or anything, or like, and then she was like, kept making reference to the fact that I was really young. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I might be older than you. It was so funny because the other people we were with, one of them was a little bit older, but the other one was the same age as me. And I was just like, man, do I look that young? Like, I get no respect, especially when I cut my hair and I shave. No respect. People think I'm like 15 years old. Okay, sorry, that was a long rant. uh, Higher fidelity and quality, usually if it's a short amount of minutes per side. Yeah, so that's what I figured was the case with the vinyl. And this one, and actually the Reign of Kindo, the other band that I was talking about earlier, they're releasing their new album at the same time. I've already heard all their music because I'm a patron on their Patreon, but they're doing a super high quality vinyl there also. I will definitely be ordering that, which means I probably need to get a vinyl player. They're not too expensive. So do you anticipate Adventure Archives ever getting big enough that it can become a full-time job? Yes, I do. In fact, I think it's pretty much already there. Like, it's not enough for all four of us yet, but it's definitely enough for like one or two of us, which we're basically treating it like a full-time job as it is anyway. We're just not getting the output that we would like to, because it's so, creative work is such a weird thing because you can't just like put your nose to the grindstone and just make it happen. Because if you can do that, but sometimes it produces really crappy work. And we don't ever want it to be crappy. We don't want to produce more at the expense of quality, if that makes sense. So I would like to be able to produce more than we're producing right now. I'm kind of all over the place right now. Okay, first, yes, I do think it can be a full-time job. We're working towards getting it there. It's not quite there yet, but I think we can make it happen. And as far as output goes, I want to get up to doing like one video a week, not necessarily one episode, and definitely not one episode a week. That'd be impossible. But doing one high quality video, and not like a side video, but like a real video. Like, so somebody does like an overnighter and we do like a 10 or 15 minute Thomas style video where it's like that length, that sort of, you know, compact package of a video, just reusing music. We can get up to once a week, no problem. One thing I was talking about in the stream earlier today was that the road trip just showed me how much you can do in a day if you really dedicate yourself to it. And that was 2 weeks of just doing stuff every single day. All you have to do for a good solid video is a day and a half, basically. You drive out, you do a bunch of cool stuff, you sleep overnight, do a little more cool stuff, and you come back home. And we can definitely do that. So that's kind of where I want to go. I don't care about the process, but I also have no drive. Yeah, I don't know. Lottery tickets. I think we need to buy more lottery tickets. Will you post longer road trip vlogs, more than one a day? No and no. So the longer road trip vlogs are probably going to be like 10 minutes each. The thing is that I filmed all the vlogs on my phone, and I filmed all the episode stuff on cameras. And by the end of the trip, I was forgetting that I was even doing a vlog. So it's really hard. I don't know why exactly, but it's super hard to film an episode and a vlog at the same time. It's like they take up the same mental space in your brain. And if I say one thing in the episode, it feels really awkward, not to anybody else, but just to me, to say the same thing again for the vlog. And plus, like, the phone, I was talking about this at the very beginning, probably before anybody joined. I hate the way the phone looks. Like, I know that's like, it's good enough, it's fast, all that stuff, and it's better than anything anybody had back in the day. But because I have these good cameras, it's really hard for me to look at the vlog footage and be like, oh, it's just not as satisfying and as fun. So I'm looking into getting a small point and shoot for vlogs when I'm also filming an episode, because I can't use those cameras anyway. Man, I feel like sometimes I can just ramble. Okay, let's slow down. Let's take a breath. Did you know most of Bruce Lee's nuggets of wisdom were actually written by a team of writers that included a young Gary Busey? Is that a joke, or are you serious? Because if you're serious, that is really weird. But if you're not serious, how would you even think of something of all people? Hold on, I had to look at some Gary Busey pictures. The dude's just too funny. What was that show? What was that show that they made about him? What was that called? It's a really weird show that was like focused around him. Oh man, I gotta look that up. What was that? Show about Gary Busey. You guys know what I'm talking about? Wasn't there a show where like it was like a reality show where they followed Gary Busey around or something? I'm with Busey was a comedy documentary television show which aired on. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Adam de la Pena met and befriended his childhood idol actor Gary Busey. Yeah, really. It seemed really funny. I remember when it actually came out, it wasn't as funny, but I don't know. Okay, what's your favorite summer memory? Maybe going to Torch Lake with Brian and Andrew. We did that in, I think I was in college at that point, but we would go to Torch Lake and then go to the sand dunes and stuff when we would play Crystal Chronicles. It was great. I get irrationally excited about summer. It's by far my favorite season, so sorry if that question was too random. No, that's totally fine. Summer for whatever reason, this is a really weird thing. Like, I almost feel I have like this hipster attitude. I have had this hipster attitude, like somewhere in the back of my mind, that when summer comes and people are all excited to go outside, I almost want to like not be excited to go outside because everybody else is. And it's like one of those bizarre things that I don't even know how I started thinking something like that. But traditionally, I haven't been too excited about summer. Like winter is my favorite season for some reason, even though it's like the worst season. But summer is great. I actually like all the seasons, but that's something in my head. That's the Asian blessing. You'll always be mistaken for a teenager. It's true, man. But like sometimes I don't want to be mistaken for a teenager. I want people to take me seriously, and I want you to. Actually, it's kind of changed a little bit. Like nowadays, when I'm, especially like if I'm working with a client directly, and I'm making a video for them, it's so nice to finally be just like in charge. And it's like, look, I know what I'm doing here. I'm going to make this for you. I'm going to tell you what you want because you don't know what you want. I'm going to talk to you in like a very clear, concise. It's so much fun to just be like, yo, here's what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be excited about it. You're great. And then when they actually see the video, they're like, God, it was great. And it's nice to actually have that type of relationship as opposed to the relationship of like, you feel like you're constantly trying to get respect out of somebody. Does that make sense? Or you're like constantly trying to like walking on eggshells and you don't want to like offend anybody or anything. I don't know if that makes any sense, but one AA episode for the whole road trip, multiple episodes. So it's probably be 3. I think I mentioned that earlier. Maybe I forgot. 3 for the different regions. So like kind of Southwest, other Southwest, South, and that's it. If you could only shoot at one aperture for the rest of your career, what would it be? It's a strange question, but 1.8, man. The bigger the aperture, the better. Like it's hard to focus sometimes, but the look you get from 1.8 is just like, that's the look everybody was going for. Like I remember when I was in high school. Yeah, high school was when I made the most videos. I had a mini DV camcorder and I didn't know anything about aperture, shutter speed, anything. I knew the look though. I remember one time we filmed a video outdoors and it was always on auto, right? Because we didn't know anything about that stuff. And there was this one shot where we're doing like a fighting video. We always did fighting videos. And we had, or gun videos. So I'm behind the tree like this. And then the shutter speed was really high. And I had no idea what a high shutter speed did to the image. I just knew that it made it look, no, I knew what it did to the image. I made it look like that, the Gladiator look. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. And I remember when I finally discovered how to make that manually, I was so excited. Like I just was doing high shutter speed on everything. But anyways, a big aperture with a high shutter speed, it gives you that look. But where's I going with this? But yeah, 1.8. Like it's like that's why that one lens that I talked about one time is my favorite lens because 1.8. But Just love that shallow depth of field. It's so nice. What are your thoughts on the pension reform protests in Nicaragua? Do you feel that having pensioners pay tax on pension income they contributed to is fair, or do the protesters have a fair point? I'll read that question and not answer it because I have no idea what you're talking about. I had the same feelings about God of War, but this new one has been great. Completely different, cinematic, and actual character development. That is what I've heard so far, too. Like, he's an actual character who has actual feelings. Like, God of War, Kratos was just like, it was such an unreal character because nobody would actually act like that for any reason unless they were actually a psychopath. Like, so just something was literally wrong with their brains. Nobody would actually act like that. It was really hard to relate to him as a character. It was just fun to embody him as like an animal and just like basically play it as like not even like a cartoon, because a cartoon, there's still characters. It was almost playing it like as a abstract, this is a shape that's attacking these other shapes really brutally. And that made it fun, but it wasn't actually fun to like explore the character, if you know what I mean. Who's your favorite stand-up comedian? Oh man, that's a good question. I will say that Louis C.K. is the most insightful. I know he apparently has some problems, but as far as his comedy goes, if you divorce that from, it's funny too, because Bill Cosby was my favorite for a long time too. He also has some problems. And that's really interesting that Louis C.K., those stand-up comedians, they got some dark sides to them. But just if we divorce their personal lives from their comedy real quick, Bill Cosby is hilarious, masterful storyteller. Louis C.K., the most insightful. Dave Chappelle, I think he's maybe like the most, like he's a great storyteller too. I like his humor as far as like, it's so relaxed and it just kind of comes out and just like anything he says is funny. He's really good. I don't really listen to that many, I guess. I remember some of Dane Cook's stuff being really funny from what I saw, but I know people really hate him for some reason, so I don't know. What's your favorite mammal? The cheetah, probably. Cheetah's always been my favorite animal, just period. Just like the concept of a super fast thing, mammal. When is the first road trip episode coming out on Patreon? Not for a while. The Seneca Creek one that we're working on now, that's going to be the May episode, which probably won't come out till like early May, mid-May. Yeah, maybe like May 7th at the earliest, May 14th at the latest for the early release, and then public release of later. You should raise from $2 minimum to $5. I don't think that's a good idea. $5 is way too high for a minimum. $2 minimum. The reason we did $2 over $1 is because $2 is twice the amount of $1, but it's still a very low amount, so it's still very manageable for most people. Where are all the likes on this stream? Give some likes, people. You know what's funny is that at this meetup that we did in California, there was, I think, 10 people who showed up. I kept asking everybody, I was like, oh, so what's your username on YouTube? Like, who do you comment as? There was only one dude, Maestas, who actually comments regularly. And it was so funny because I always think in my head, like, oh, yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. You think that the people who are commenting are kind of representing the majority, but I think like that's 5% of the people who are actually commenting. Like if we go by that meetup, 10% of the people comment. So 1 out of 10, right? That's 10%? Yeah. But the other 90% never comments, but they still watch religiously. And when I think about like myself, for most of the YouTube videos I watch, there's YouTube channels like I will watch every single thing they put out. Like Casey Neistat and My Life in Gaming. Anything they put out, I will watch it like the second it's released, and I will enjoy it so much. But I usually won't comment. I comment on My Life in Gaming probably more than Casey Neistat, but I never comment on Casey Neistat stuff. Comments are just like a feed of insanity and just so many people. It's like, why even bother commenting? Would he even see it? Maybe he would. I don't know. But yeah. See you, Lorenzo. You're probably already gone, but see you later. Give Tom Segura ago. Let me see here. You know, Netflix is funny. I signed up for a Netflix account finally. It came free with my T-Mobile. So I got off of my brother's Netflix account. And the first thing I watched was the new Chappelle stand-up specials. I don't think I've ever seen this guy before. I watched the Dave Chappelle stand-up special, and now Netflix is always recommending me stand-up specials. Have you ever played any of the Yakuza games? So I started Yakuza 4, maybe it was 5. Well, in any case, I had a bunch of the PS3 Yakuza games, maybe 2 of them, for free from PlayStation Plus. And I watched like the story recaps of 1, 2, and 3. And then I played some of the whichever game I was playing as 4 or 5. You play as a new character, not Kazuma. And I loved it. Like Yakuza seems like right up my alley, just like that tone. The gameplay seems so much fun, and like weird side quests and just characters are really funny. I definitely want to get into them. I just haven't actually taken the time to do that. From what little I've seen from your vlog, you and your brother seem to be very different. He has a traditional career, right? If you guys do have very different personalities, why do you think that is? So I wouldn't say well, maybe our personalities are a little different. We're pretty similar, but also not similar. Our sense of humor is very similar. I will say that. And our sense of aesthetic taste is like very usually very similar. I don't know what the exact reason is, but there's just little things that are different. Like I think he just like prioritized other things over other things. Like when he got out of college, he really prioritized getting a job and getting out on his own and really like establishing his own life. And I didn't really prioritize that. Like I didn't get my first job until almost a year after I had graduated. And like when I was in college, it wasn't like a really good separation. Like it wasn't like I had finally moved away from home. I still went home all the time. My brother, when he went to college, he was like, no, I'm off to college. I'm starting my own life. You know, I was a lot slower on the uptake on that. And there's other differences. Like he also just got really established, well-paying jobs. Like that was one thing that I never really cared that much about. It was like getting a job I was much more interested in getting a job that he had jobs that he enjoyed too. So I don't know. He's just better at getting well-paying jobs. But I found really quickly after working in an office for a year that I just physically cannot do it. He can do it, but I cannot stay in an office for 8 hours a day. But just other small differences, like he likes to dance, but he doesn't like to dance like I like to dance. Like if there's a wedding or whatever, he'll dance to it, but he's not going to get super into that. He stopped playing video games in high school. I kept playing them. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is exactly. I think we're just kind of like, we kind of split a lot more in our different interests and kind of personalities when he went to college. We're not that different, but I think that was where he really took his own path, and I took my own path. What movie has taught you the most about life, philosophy, human nature? Oh, Truman Show and Gattaca. It's actually, I think they're written by the same dude, but Truman Show is probably the most, the one that speaks to me the most. It's just how we have all of these we have all of these chains that in that movie, he didn't choose them. But in real life, we have all of these chains that we bind ourselves to, and all these limitations like, oh, I can't wear that in public because I'll look stupid. I can't get my hair cut like that because I'll look stupid. I can't dance in front of people because they'll make fun of me. Whatever it happens to be. And like that struggle, like he realizes that he's chained, but he still can't really just decide to free himself from that because he's literally trapped in it. He had to they had to cross that ocean and all that stuff. Or like at the beginning of the movie, he wants to explore, but he's got that trauma of the water. So he can't even get on the boat to cross the water. that sort of like struggle that we all have to overcome our internal barriers that we've set for ourselves. That's the worst part, is we've set those barriers for ourselves. Like, that's not even a barrier that somebody has imposed on us. It's just somebody put the idea in our head, just like that allegory about the camel. The dude's walking the camel at night. He doesn't have any rope to tie up his camels. So the guy says, just pretend that you're tying up the camels, and then they'll stay there all night. Because the camels are so dumb and they just believe that they're bound to it. And then the next morning he tries to like ride the camels out. He's like, these camels won't move. He says, that's because you haven't pretended to untie them yet. It's the same sort of thing. We've got all these limitations we set on ourselves. And I still have so many limitations that I set on myself all the time that I just can't get over without like just chipping away at it a little bit at a time. And it's not even something you can't just decide, because it's already in your physiology. Like just so many examples of that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, if a vlog is too big, there's no point commenting on the big chunks. But I actually do think that must be dust or something flying around. You see that white stuff? It happened on the stream earlier today. Mitch Hedberg is pretty funny. Actually, there's a good example. My brother really liked Mitch Hedberg. His type of humor, Mitch Hedberg, I think Hedberg, is it Hedberg? Hedberg. Whatever. His type of humor is really funny, but it's also not super up my alley. I will laugh at him, though. He's funny. Well, he was funny. May he rest in peace. He's dead, right? I think he's dead. Have you ever traveled to any continents other than Asia, Europe, and North America? I've been to South America, for sure. I went to Brazil. My brother studied abroad in Brazil. I visited him then. I haven't been to Africa. Haven't been to Australia. Haven't been to either of the north places or the south places. What are all the continents? And you know, that's really funny. This is good coincidence. Hold on one second now. This is a map of the United States with all of the states written on here. So today I was checking out my YouTube subscription feed, and in Vice News it said something about Yemen, and I could tell that it was Isabel Young, one of their reporters. She's like the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. So I was like, I gotta watch this. So I was watching it, but then I was like, dude, I don't even know where Yemen is. And that's been kind of something that's bothered me lately, is that I don't know even all of the states in the US, let alone where all of the countries in the world are. And I said, I am a grown human being. I can take the time to actually learn where all the states are and where all the countries in the world are. So that's like my current learning project, is I'm going to first learn all the states, and then I'm going to learn all the countries. Why did I bring that up? Oh, because you said, have you ever traveled to any continents other than the ones that you listed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 continents. Okay. Yeah, so I guess the only other one, I went to South America once. No, her name's actually spelled like this. She's, I think, half British, half Chinese, but she reports for Vice News. Okay. Have you ever read The Hidden Life of Trees yet? No, but I did read The Hidden Life of Mushrooms, or whatever, the one that you sent to me. Well, most of it. I gave it to my mom to read the rest later. What is this channel about? I found it because of Adventure Archives. Well, welcome, Legion 69. This is my personal vlog channel. I've been doing it since October of 2015. I do a daily vlog every single day, and you can also see some behind-the-scenes Adventure Archive stuff. Will you ever bring your brother or mom on a hiking camping trip for AA? Yes, and the mom one is probably going to happen soon, because people keep telling me I should do that for Mother's Day. And Mother's Day is coming up soon, so that would be really good. I'm going to be in Indiana for a conference in May. Where should I go to eat besides Chipotle, of course? Ooh. Oh, okay. You got to go to Sichuan. That's my favorite restaurant in the world. Let me post the link to it. You got to go during lunch. It is just, it's like 7 authentic. Well, it's half authentic, half like, you know, uh, half authentic, half Americanized Chinese food. Oh, only 4 stars. Those no. Don't listen to any of these Yelp reviews. I'm just sending it to you so you can know where it's at. This is the best restaurant. This is the best Chinese restaurant you'll ever eat at, and it's the best restaurant in Indianapolis / Carmel. That's where I would go. Are you excited for Infinity War? I don't like any of the Marvel movies. I don't dislike them either, but it's weird. I have no love for them. I love lots of like nerd stuff and geek culture and all this stuff, but Marvel stuff has just never really appealed to me. I think maybe part of it is because I was living in China in the year when all of my friends got into Marvel trading cards. I remember Sunspot was a really cool. Was his name Sunspot? He was my favorite character. That's his name, right? No? The dude with the sun. Yeah, Sunspot. Yeah. Well, his name is Roberto. I didn't know that. But I thought he was a super cool character. But the whole Marvel universe, it just doesn't excite me that much. If you like Hedberg and don't know if Stephen Wright already given him a try, I've never heard of Stephen Wright either. There's all these people. You got to show these to me next time I'm over there. Are you still going to do a live stream pizza party? That would play Final Fantasy VII and have pizza. That would be awesome. Yes, we are going to do that. In fact, let me just ask you guys, when would you guys like to do that? Because I'm down to do it anytime now. I'm not going to be traveling for the next couple of weeks, and I'm just going to be. In fact, the next couple of weeks is just going to be me editing my butt off because we've got so much stuff to edit. But anytime, you guys just let me know. Oh, got to head to Indianapolis, but if there's a destination spot you recommend, I'll make the drive. Well, so the Sichuan restaurant, that's just north of Indianapolis, so it's like at 116th Street, and the northernmost part of Indianapolis is 96th Street, so it's not too much far. I don't know where you're going, but I guess just tell me. If you're going downtown, that's a ways out of the way. But downtown, is there anything good? I almost never go downtown, so I have no idea, unfortunately. Did you do anything to celebrate the holiday on Friday? We won't tell. What holiday? Was there a holiday on Friday? Holidays. I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, 420, right. No, I didn't. In fact, we could have. I just hadn't thought of it. Wait, where was that? 420. Oh, no, I was in Florida. I was working. Was doing a movie shoot, so I wasn't able to do that. But no, I've actually never celebrated 420 before. Maybe one year the stars will actually align where I'll be at home, or I'll be in the vicinity of people I know who will help me celebrate 420, because I don't partake in the stuff on. In fact, I've never partook on my own before. It's always just been somebody else has it, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But as far as me doing it myself, I've never done it and never purchased it either. I mean, I would admit it if I had. I have no compunction on that whatsoever. Like, alcohol is a drug 10 times worse than marijuana. Alcohol, like, makes you feel terrible. It makes people do terrible things. The only thing marijuana has ever done is make somebody fall asleep. I mean, it's done lots of things, don't get me wrong. But it's, as far as if we're going to talk about what has done more harm, the legal drug alcohol or the illegal drug marijuana. It's the legal drug alcohol every single time. A new movie recommendation would be A Quiet Place, some logic holes, but overall a very original idea. As soon as I heard the concept for that movie, I was like, I really want to see it, because I love those movies with like really cool concepts. What was another one? Truman Show is a great example of that. When I first heard the concept of Truman Show, I was like, oh my God, I want to see that. Another good one is, these aren't horror movies, obviously, just movies with really interesting concepts, like from the get-go. One of them was that Tom Cruise movie. They changed the name of it. What was it called? It's I don't want to give the name away. The new name, I think, spoils it, but it's called Edge of Tomorrow. That's what it is, Edge of Tomorrow. That movie, I knew nothing about it going in. When I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect. Yes, this is what's happening. Yes. I don't know if it's actually that good of a movie if you know ahead of time what the premise is. But if you don't know what the premise is, I highly, highly recommend that movie, Edge of Tomorrow. This was on the floor. I have no idea what this goes to. Anyways. Weed is not my thing either, but alcohol is way worse. Yeah, it's totally terrible. In fact, weed is funny because recently I was just like, man, I really just don't want to smoke it ever again. Every single time I do, I lose so much of my processing ability that I feel like I'm not even enjoying things as much. I actually really enjoy coffee because of how much it heightens all of my senses. I'm just like, I can take in so much more and everything's more vivid and I'm faster. Not that I need to be faster, but coffee is just did you know that it's actually like a psychoactive drug where it actually affects your brain? That's what they call it. That's what they call drugs that affect your brain. But coffee is the only reason. Oh no, coffee is the opposite of marijuana. Whereas marijuana makes you more relaxed, not want to work. Coffee makes you super heightened to attention and makes you want to work, clean the world up and organize everything. It's kind of exacerbates my natural tendencies, but I really enjoy it for that reason. But it's just weird how you can see the societal norms, and what not norms, the goals of the society, right, are kind of encoded in what's legal and not legal. Not only is coffee legal, it's celebrated. And it's oh yes, it's this barista has made this fine coffee and I can taste the acid and I don't know anything about that stuff. I just like to drink it. But I stopped, I haven't smoked weed in a long time because it's just every time I do, it feels like time just kind of goes to nothing and I don't know what's happening. Usually I'm playing video games and I'm I can't play the game as well and I don't remember what's happening, and it can be fun, but it's just, I don't know. I actually prefer the effect of alcohol if we're talking about drugs, but I don't prefer the effect of how it makes you feel the next day, or even just 10 minutes after. You're just oh my God, what have I done? What's the recommended amount of What's the recommended amount of detotated wham I should have to a server? You're going to have to reword that or something because I have no idea what you're talking about. Castaway is a good movie. Yes, I really want to rewatch that. I think maybe I talked about that in a previous stream, but I want to watch that with an adult mind because I saw it when I was in 5th grade maybe. And I remember enjoying it, but then when we left the movie, my dad was like, that movie sucked. So I was like, oh, I guess he must be right. It must have sucked. But I'm almost positive that I will really enjoy that movie if I watch it now. Weed causes schizophrenia. I mean, dude, all sorts of drugs. I believe it. All sorts of drugs cause all sorts of terrible things. Just try meth. I'm not going to try that, dude. Some of those, even if meth is not a huge deal, anything where you have to is meth the kind that you have to inject it, right? You melt it and inject it. Anything with needles, I will never try. I don't know if that's actually true. Maybe you smoke it. You smoke meth? I don't know. I didn't know anything about Edge of Tomorrow either when I first saw it. I started watching it one lonely Friday night because I was bored and was mesmerized throughout the whole movie. Yeah, it was fantastic. My brother was the one who actually recommended it. He had bought it on his Apple TV, and we were visiting him, or I was just at his house for some reason. Oh, you know what it was? It was the night before we went to Mammoth Cave for Adventure Archives. We stayed at my brother's house. And that night we watched the movie. And he was just like, dude, it's a good movie. Just watch it. I won't tell you anything about it. And I'm so glad he didn't. It was fantastic. I loved it. Do you think Doc and Marty should have been lost in time in Back to the Future 2 when Biff steals the almanac and the DeLorean goes back to 1955? You know, I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie because I haven't seen it in a long time. But now that's an interesting question to pose because I don't remember exactly all the details of it. But next time I watch Back to the Future 2, that's the one I've watched the least. I've watched 1 and 3 many times, but 2 is kind of like the black sheep. Although when I watched it, when it came out on DVD, that was kind of a big deal. Got it on DVD. I watched the second one, and I remember at the time I was like, I don't even remember what happens in this movie. I had seen it, but then I watched it, and I was like, oh man, this is like a super fast-paced, like really good, tight movie. Lots of interesting things happening, but I have to rewatch it. Okay. Oh my! So Jason G was trolling me. I still don't even know what he's talking about, so somebody's gonna have to explain the troll to me. Isn't that nice though when somebody trolls you and you don't even know what it is? So like, even if they're not making fun of you specifically, it doesn't bother you. Cucumbers give me farts. Make those illegal. That's I don't know, man. I think that's on you. That's not on the cucumber. Weed if from the earth. And this must be movie quotes or something. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I just got here. What's happening? Luke, I also don't know what's happening here. So unless that's a greeting. I'm just making people laugh, not trying to troll. I just want you guys to let me in on the joke. I want to know what's going on because I have no clue what you're talking about. Have you seen Lost, the TV show? I think you'd like it. I loved Lost, the TV show. I watched it when it was like coming out, and we remember one time, me and my coworker, we went to like one of those Lost viewing parties at a bar. Super fun to watch it that way too, but man, every week was just, that's one thing. Like, I don't know if it's better this way or worse this way, but it was, hold on. Wyatt just sent me a link to the, okay, I'll look at that later. Apparently it's a spelling bee thing or something. I don't know. One thing we've kind of lost with, and this, I'm not like making a value judgment. This might be better or worse, but there's no doubt that we've lost this certain aspect of it. When TV shows became where it was just every day or every time they released a new season on Netflix, you could watch everything at once, or just the fact that Netflix existed. And if you'd never seen a show, you could watch it from start to finish, like in 1 week of no sleep, you know? The thing that was so great about it was the ritual of every week watching the show. Like I remember when Prison Break was airing, me and my roommates, we were so excited. We're like, you ready for that Prison Break? I was like, yeah, I got my dinner ready. And it's like, are you gonna be there at Prison Break? It's like, oh no, I got class that night. And it was just so much fun. And then like when Lost was still airing and it was the final season, just every week was just like such an event. You had something to look forward to. And I think my mom was telling me that she used to work with somebody who was like, you got to have some TV shows to watch so that you organize around it and feel like you're having something to work towards every week. I'm not sure if that's exactly it, but we definitely have we definitely have lost that specific aspect of enjoyment from Netflix and all these shows where you can just binge watch everything. Okay. But yeah, I love Lost. And I love the ending too. People who give the ending a hard time, I feel like they don't entirely understand it, or they just wanted answers from all the questions. I understand if you wanted answers to all the mysteries, you didn't get those, and I can understand how you were disappointed, but that's never bothered me. Hello, Mother.
Hello, son.
I was just talking about that person you used to work with who said that they like organize their life around TV shows, the schedule. What was it exactly?
He said that having a regular TV schedule kept him normal. So you had to have basically that's the whole philosophy is that for your life to be normal, if you don't have something to set your life by, and TV schedules are really good. So he's like, on Tuesday nights they watch something, on Friday nights they watch something else, and that's how he.
Okay, as a serial, my mother is a serial Netflix binger, an Amazon binger.
As long as it's some like Victorian.
Yeah. If they're not speaking with British accents, then you can just throw it away.
And if it's after like 1925, I don't care anything about it at all.
Okay, so what is your opinion on the fact that now every show is bingeable and there's no longer like something to look forward to every week? Because I'm pretty sure I know where you stand on this.
Couldn't care less. No, I would just as soon watch it, and because, well, you know me, I'll just watch it numerous times until I've gotten every little nuance.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like. Maybe I miss it a little bit. Like when I was a child, they had two things that came on once a year: Cinderella, Wizard of Oz.
Oh, really?
And I waited all year for it. And one year I was really disappointed because my dad wanted to watch the Virginian instead of Cinderella, and my heart was broken because you couldn't like watch it later or record it. There was no such thing. I had to wait a whole nother year for Cinderella.
You weren't able to convince him?
No.
Oh, I thought that had a happy ending.
No, it did not have a happy ending. It was like I had to wait a whole year for Cinderella, and the Virginian was on every week, so I was not very happy.
Yeah.
But now that I like to watch.
Something ringing.
Oh yes, wear my blue blockers because I'm old. Can't sleep without them. I like to watch a movie or a TV program until I have every single nuance. Like even now, sometimes I'll watch Downton Abbey or Poldark, and I'll go, I didn't know they said that. I must have missed that somehow. And it helps other things make sense, which you could never do before. So I don't think you need to.
Okay, but what about like when Lost's final season was airing? Every week was such an event.
Nope. I would have liked to have had it right then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well. I liked the getting if things I would watch with people. Maybe I'd change my mind. Yeah, maybe like Lost. Now that you say that, it was really fun. We all got together to watch the next episode, but I'm fairly certain if we could have watched it the next day, we would have.
Think about how much time you would have in your life to do other things.
I can't imagine what I'd enjoy more.
That's a good point.
Oh, you took it out.
Yeah, I was showing them on the stream. Somebody was saying that it is indeed the case that, well, you weren't there, but I was saying that there's only 3 songs on each side.
Is that true?
Yeah, so that I think it means it's like higher quality because it's like the grooves are more deep or something.
Okay.
Time-based movies are a thing if you can ignore all the plot holes. Yeah, I love time travel. Time travel is great. It's a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Do you think the Leafs will pull off the comeback tomorrow and win Game 7 versus the Bruins? I've only got one response to that. Could not care less, dude. Westworld, my dude. I will watch Westworld the next time Game of Thrones airs because that is when I will have HBO Go or whatever. I'll pay for a month. That's what I always do, or that's what I have done. Is I'm going to pay for the month or two that Game of Thrones is airing, and then I'll turn it off. But during that month or two, I will watch Westworld. So I'm waiting for that. Did you ever get really into any trading? Did you ever get really into any trading card games as a kid? So I missed the boat on Magic. I think that was really hit its stride when I was in 5th grade. So I was living in China at the time. And I missed the boat on Pokemon because I was just slightly too old for that. So I was like, oh, I'm not playing that. And Yu-Gi-Oh! The same thing. Are there other ones? I don't know. But no, never played any trading card games. I said I'm clearly uninformed on this video. Why won't they give us Canadians Portlandia back on our Netflix? Portlandia is the funniest show. Did you eat the sushi you found in the parking lot off camera? No, I didn't. In fact, I was pulling out, right? I was looking at it. I literally spent 5 minutes sitting there with my door open thinking, I was like, I really should eat this, right? It's open, but it's clearly untouched. And somebody left it here. They had to have just forgotten it. And I was like, man, I gotta do it. But then I was like, okay, it's not worth getting sick over. There's an off chance that somebody I could have even brought it back in. But I left it there. I was like, okay, before I saw this sushi, my life was perfectly fine. If I leave this sushi here, my life will be perfectly fine. So I left it there. And as I was pulling out, a dude was walking into the store and he like waved me down. I was like, oh, your sushi. And I opened the window. I was like, it's not mine. I think it's perfectly good, and I contemplated eating it, but I didn't. But you're welcome to it. And he said, no, I'm not going to eat it either. But no, I gave it a good long thought. New Zealand Netflix is Netflix if it run on Windows Vista. It's okay if you don't know anything better is out there. Were you upset by dog's name in Downton Abbey? Oh, I'll ask my mom that. Hey, Mom, were you upset by dog's name in Downton Abbey?
What?
There's a question here. Were you upset by dog's name in Downton Abbey or the dog's name?
ISIS? Of course not. There was supposedly some rumor going around that they had ISIS die off because of the
connection with the
terrorists.
The
But
terrorists?
Julian Fellows has said that's totally ridiculous. The next dog that came after that was Tio, which was also an Egyptian it was an Egyptian goddess name. So
yeah, this like
yeah, not
my mom is not somebody who would think about that type of stuff and like care at all. So
not at all.
No. But are you a history buff?
Well, I've become more of a history buff really just because of Downton Abbey. I've started learning. So like when I started watching Victoria, which is the current series that's on about Queen Victoria, I've now like gotten books to read about her and her life and what an extraordinary monarch she was, and watched lots of podcasts and stuff. So I'm becoming more of a history buff than I ever was. Like, hated history in school because I thought it was so boring. And in my mind, the only reason you learned history was so you could become a history teacher and teach other people history who didn't want to know. Same way with English. But now, no, I'm becoming much more of a history buff than I ever was. And I think as I get older, I'll probably continue to do that because now I'm starting to like Civil War stuff too.
So. Well, Thomas used to do Civil War reenactments.
Did he?
Yeah.
That sounds really
I don't
cool.
think he still does, though.
I think it'd be fun.
Okay. Yeah,
Is that it for me?
That was it? Yeah. Will Nicole be in any upcoming AA videos? None on the radar, but yeah, she'll definitely be in future ones. So what's better, weed or that Mullen you were smoking on the Winter Dolly Saws episode? So Mullen it's not a drug. It's just like a smoking thing that gives you like some cool feel. It's kind of like a menthol feel in your throat. I would never smoke that outside of doing it for the show, just to try it. Like trying it was fine, but so definitely weed. If I was gonna smoke anything. Did you see Nicole's tattoo? It is awesome. I did not. Did she have a new one? Have I seen any of her tattoos? Yes, I have. She's got like this cool like compass or something. It's pretty cool. I need to set notifications for these things. Yeah, there's a bell icon apparently that'll notify you. Notice me. Tommy, I did notice your comment and I chose to ignore it. What's your excitement level for Solo? Okay, we're also coming in on an hour, guys, so get your final questions in. And just as a reminder, next week we're probably going to do this on Thursday night. So Tuesday afternoon will be the 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock stream for people in the European time zone. Thursday will be 7 or 8 o'clock for people in the whatever time zone we're in, Eastern. What's my excitement level for Solo? I would say it's a good 8 out of 10. I'm definitely going to see it on opening day. I'm definitely going to see it at the IMAX, and I'm very optimistic about it. Like I was cautiously optimistic about it before, but I think I'm gonna upgrade that to just I'm optimistic about it. And I think it's going to be good. I don't know if it's going to be amazing, but I also have like with the side movies, I'll watch the trailers and I'll watch like all the behind the scenes stuff. I don't mind getting spoiled like slightly, just knowing who the characters are and all this stuff. But after this last trailer, I was like, okay, that's enough. I'm not going to look at all these little TV spots that they're airing. And I decided, okay, I'm just ready to go see it. So I'm excited for it. This comes out in like a month, right? I think so. Oh, okay. Are you going to grow out your hair again? Maybe, but right now the problem is that I didn't even know this was a thing that was happening, but my hair is like thinning on the front here. And Hey, Mom! No, never mind. Well, actually, maybe you know, does baldness come from
The mother's side of the family.
the mother's side of the family? So your dad would have baldness?
My mom's dad. Like on my mom's side of the family, if there's baldness, I would pass it on to my sons. But my dad's side of the family would have baldness. I would not pass it on to my sons.
So was grandma's parents, they had baldness? No. Okay. Well, so I don't know what's going on with my hair.
I think it's alopecia a little bit.
Yeah, because I actually had a problem in high school where like this section of the hair just like disappeared.
A little more than that section.
But in lots of spots. But anyway, so
didn't you just have a spot back here recently that you got shots in?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's what it is, but very mild.
Maybe. So yeah.
You just don't have it in your family.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, especially like right there. So if I do grow it out again, I wouldn't grow it out to where that would be super obvious. And it's funny because it's like if I'm going to go bald, I'm fine. But this like halfway.
This mangy dog look you had in high school.
I'm not okay with that. It's like I want either full bald or full head of hair. I don't want like a patch right here. Like that just looks terrible. Yeah. Whenever people like hang on to the hair, I'm like, man, just shave it off, man. Just go for it.
Wow. Okay. Don't be a wussy.
So yeah, if I grow out my hair, I might grow out my hair again, but if I do, it's not gonna accentuate that. Van life or bus life, and you said probably not. Has your opinion changed at all after the road trip? No. In fact, my opinion is probably just strengthened that I'm not too interested in that. I much prefer what I'm doing now, which is having a home base and then venturing out all the time. Can you stream at night? Because I can't catch it in the morning. Twitch stream, I mean. Yes, I can do that. This week I'd already decided to stream in the morning, but there's just not enough hours in the day. I will find a way to do some night streams, though. Maybe I'll do those on the weekend. What game are we playing tonight? I'm not playing any games tonight, son. In fact, I'm going to hurry up and eat my dinner after this so that it's not too late. Huge piece of advice. Don't eat after sunset. That's like the greatest thing I've ever done for myself. You can fall asleep so much easier if you don't do that. So I highly recommend that. You should shave your head and grow a goatee or something. That's not a bad idea. Like, so if I do go bald, like if for some reason I lose all my hair, I'm going to shave it all off and then I'll just have a super long, like, Fu Manchu. That'd be a pretty cool look, actually. Man, I might just go for that anyway. What's my favorite porn site? That's not appropriate for the vlog. Let's start a fundraiser. And if we hit a certain level, Robby has to shave his head down to the dome. Well, I mean, if you guys are just going to send me money to shave my head, I would gladly do that. You should have held on to that excess hair you had from having your haircut. Yeah, I could just like plaster it on my head. That'd be pretty funny. Okay, so guys, get your final questions in. I think we're going to end the stream in the next 5 minutes or so here. Is there anything you guys need to know? No, not really. The vlogs are going to continue. Road trip. Tomorrow will be the vlog from April 7th and April 8th, which was a Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be doing Twitch streaming tomorrow at 9 a.m. There's a Thomas video that will be coming out very soon as Thomas does his narration. Keep bugging him about it. He hasn't done it yet. And yeah, that's it. Okay. I was about to watch your Big Sur vlog post, but saw this happening. It's a good one. That Big Sur is an amazingly beautiful place, but it was very wet when we were there. So it was not the greatest to have to hike through, but it was the greatest to hike through because it was so awesome. Okay, so yeah, a couple more questions. Any advice? Well, the advice I just said is don't eat after sunset. That Gremlins thing, you know, the Gremlins movies, don't eat after midnight or whatever. Don't feed them after midnight. That applies to humans as well. Do not eat after the sun goes down. Like, if there's any one piece of advice I can give as far as like health-wise, do not eat after the sun goes down. It can just like, it'll automatically improve so many other aspects of your life. And I wish somebody had told me this years and years ago. You guys how, if you guys have been watching for a while, you know that I've been trying to go to bed at 11 o'clock for years now. And I just could not do it because I'd always like have too much energy at night. When I stopped eating, or when I don't eat after sunset, going to bed early is like it's easy. Your body's just like somehow naturally ready. But it's almost like if you eat late, your body digests a bunch of food, it's got a bunch of energy, and it's like, okay, well, here's round 2. Let's go to bed at 2 a.m. So that's my advice. What is Thomas studying for grad school? He's studying business. Business, yes. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Luke. Didn't realize you spent so much time in California. We only were there for 3 days. And it was Big Sur for most of that time. And it was going to be Big Sur for more of the time, but the rain made us go back. How are you finding catching the vlog back up? It's not too bad right now. I'm not filming, so I'm not digging myself a deeper hole. I'm just digging myself out of the hole. I made that mistake with, well, China was like a nightmare, dude. Digging myself out of that hole of 2 weeks of backlog. Oh, man, it was horrible. I'm never going to do that again. Did you see my painting on the Patreon site? What did you think? I thought it was awesome. I did see it. I saw the one that you did of a picture that Thomas and Andrew did. It was very cool. Very nice job. Taco Bell at midnight is bad. Well, I mean, it's great, but it's also, if you want to go to sleep early, it's not good. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for coming. Green Bam 0. Wearing your hair in a ponytail will put stress on your scalp and will cause you to lose hair around your crown. You know, that's what I thought it was too, but I had the hair thinning happen in 2013 before I had grown my hair out. So that had happened, like especially this spot right here, it thinned out like back in 2013. But I'm sure doing the ponytail probably didn't help it much. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully my hair doesn't all fall out, but if it does, we'll deal with it. It's fine. My birthday just passed. It was on April 22nd. Can I please get a shout out? Yes, you can. Happy birthday, Nancy Ow. In fact, my sister's birthday is tomorrow, and we're going to be celebrating. I asked her, I gave her a gift on this weekend. My brother was in town, so we celebrated it then. I gave her, I gave her for Christmas, I gave her a Frisbee and like one of those kickball balls. And I got those specifically so that I would have something to play with her when I played. But she lost the Frisbee, so I got her another Frisbee. It was a better one. And then I was there today, and she was like, "Are you going to get me something for my birthday?" I was like, "I already got you something." And he's like, "Are you giving me another thing?" I was like, "I can. What do you want?" And she was like, "I want slime." And I was like, "Okay, what color slime?" So she wants green slime. And then I said, "You just want green?" And she's like, "Blue too." So I'm gonna look for green and blue slime. I'm not sure where you get that. I assume it's at the thing. But yes, happy birthday, Nancy. We will not ask how old you are because we don't ask people how old they are. Or do we? I don't know what the etiquette is nowadays, but my sister is going to be 6 years old, which I remember I was really excited about being 6 years old because my birthday was on November 6th, or is on November 6th. 6. What was the Yosemite stuff you were talking about in the earlier live stream? I think I was just talking about the JMT in Vernal Falls and how crowded Yosemite is. But I don't remember anything particular. I started shaving my head when I noticed my hair thinning. Yeah, like if it continues, I'll just go for the shave, whatever. And I really like that idea of like the goatee, the really long, because like when I grow out this mustache, it kind of curls up a bit. It would look really funny. That'd be cool. If you could move anywhere in the U.S., where would you move and why? Just off the top of my head, maybe Jackson Hole. I don't know if I would want to live there for a long time. It's like 10 years ago. Yeah, no, I mean, I turned 30. No shame to admit that. LOL. Okay, good. Yeah, I was like, I have no shame about my age either, but sometimes people get sensitive about that. The sun is down. You should go eat dinner. You're absolutely right. I've got like 5 minutes left before actual sunset. I think it's like at 8:30 tonight. So thank you guys for watching the stream. I'll be back next week, Tuesday in the afternoon, Thursday in the evening, or maybe I'll do a Thursday stream this week too. It depends on how much energy and time I got, but we'll see. Vlog tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching. Will you tickle my belly button? Absolutely not. Oregon, Legion, yeah, everybody. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.